Hello, my name is Amanda Lindsay, and I will be doing my informative speech on superstitions. And I apologize for the screen being backwards because the webcam shoots the PowerPoint backwards. So, superstition is the false belief based on ignorance, and it is also the fear of the unknown, trust in magic, or trust in chance. So, the origins of this date back to our early ancestors, where they tried to explain mysterious circumstances as best they could. For example, with reflections and shadows, reflections being in the mirror and shadows being when the sun shines behind us and our shadow shows. And ancient people reasoned that a shadow or reflection was part of their soul. So when, for example, the mirror was broken, then people believed their soul was harmed. So superstition today is a belief people cling to even after new knowledge proved their beliefs untrue. And it was derived from the Latin word meaning outliving or surviving. Superstitions have been around since the beginning early humanity time, created to deal with fear of the unknown. Again, superstitions are really just coincidences by some people, and they deeply influence history because it affects the way people think of things. So, common superstitions, some of the unlucky ones are common Friday the 13th, walking under a ladder, opening an umbrella inside if a black cat crosses your path, step on a crack and break your mother's back where you were a little kid and you just hopped along the cracks and played that little game. And then the lucky ones would include an apple a day keeps the doctor away, finding a 4-leaf clover, finding a pot of gold at the end of every rainbow, a cat having 9 lives, a lucky rabbit's foot, or finding a lucky penny heads up. So for Friday the 13th, there are 21 million people in the U.S. who suffer from this so-called fear, and it brings very bad news for the economy because every year, or every Friday the 13th, the economy suffers about 800 and 900 million lost in businesses because people won't want to leave their houses. So there are several theories and origins behind this day, and the first is 13th and Friday. Both are said to be unlucky. The Christian tradition is the 9 disciples, and then Jesus being the 13th. So, and then when Judas was the 13th to arrive, and then he was the one who ended up betraying Jesus. On Friday, Jesus was also crucified. The Great Flood happened, and then Friday is also the day that Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. Another theory is Norse culture and mythology, where the hero Balder was killed at a banquet by god Loki, and there was a party of 12, and Loki was the 13th to arrive. And then the Last Supper had 13 related beliefs because of this. During a meal, if the group was 13th, one is said to die within the year. And then King Philip of France, Friday the 13th in 1306, Philip arrested Reverend Knights Templar and tortured them. And then also Friday was a day for public hearings, and there were 13 steps up to the noose as well. And then in Western literature, the references to Friday the 13th first appeared in the 17th to 18th century. And then for the lucky tradition of Friday the 13th, the Chinese and Egyptian tradition viewed Friday and or the number 13 as both being lucky. Then another unlucky superstition is black cats, where you should expect bad luck if a black cat crosses your path. So for our first theory, Charles of England fiercely was protective of his cat, and then it fell ill and died. And Charles proclaimed, "Alas, my luck is gone." Next day he was arrested and charged for treason. And then the good luck theories of the black cat is in Yorkshire or Europe, where a black cat is said to bring fishermen home safely. And then also if a black cat walks into your home, then you are considered blessed. So for a lucky superstition, the 4-leaf clover is a very common one. There are about 10,000 regular 3-leaf clovers for every one 4-leaf clover. And in North America, this is one of our most lucky emblems. So this all started in Ireland, and shamrocks are worn on St. Patrick's Day. The origin of the story of the 4-leaf clover is centuries old, and it is obviously a good luck symbol by the Irish since early times. And then, according to legend, Eve carried a 4-leaf clover from the Garden of Eden, and it was considered a luck charm from the Trinitarian tradition. And then also it predates back to Christianity, going back to the pagan period, four-leaf clovers were Celtic charms. Its first literary reference was 1620. The leaves are said to stand for faith, hope, luck, and love, and there are no clover plants that naturally produce four leaves, and they are extremely rare. And then another common one is the lucky rabbit's foot. So today they are found at almost any drugstore, and there's about 10 million sold in the U.S. each year. They're usually dyed a very bright color, found on a keychain, and there's no significance to the colors at all. The proper foot for luck is the left foot of the rabbit, and the manufacturers today are now known to just use any foot. So the origin of this is brought in the southern United States by African slaves. They would carry these around as good luck. And then it is one of the oldest traditions in the world, dating back to about 600 BC. And then they mean symbols of fertility, abundance, etc. When it runs, the back feet hit the ground first, ahead of the front, and then this would possess the one to bring good fortune. With animal rights, activists discourage this practice just because of cruelty and senseless deaths for the rabbit foot. And then with religion, non-religious people label religion as superstitious, about like people paranoid about what the future may hold, so they'll go to religion. And then believing rituals will influence as God's decision. For religious people, it's the sacrifice is a way to ensure good harvest. So they put the power in the hands of deity. And then Roman Catholic Church finds superstition sinful, so it's putting faith in something rather than God. And once again, superstitions are the false belief based on ignorance, fear of the unknown, trust in magic, or trust in chance. And thousands of superstitions still remain and are displayed throughout our daily lives today. I totally